I'm going to be brief. I wanted to thank Senator Wyden, the senator from Oregon, the ranking member of the Finance Committee, for his leadership on this bill. I want to thank, as he did, Senator Hatch for his leadership on this bill, Senator Grassley for his leadership on this bill. As the senator from Oregon indicated, this bill is passed unanimously in the House of Representatives. This bill passed with 500 groups supporting the bill from every geography in the United States. There are groups from Oregon, there are groups from Colorado, there are groups from the presiding officer's state who have weighed in on this and said we should have this legislation passed. We have had testimony in the Finance Committee from people that were foster children who came to the Congress to testify about what had gone wrong in their lives as a result of the system that we have in place today, who still made the time to come here to advocate on behalf of children all over the country who are situated in the same way they once were. And now, because of a disagreement in the Senate, this bipartisan bill that passed the House unanimously, that has almost 30 co-sponsors in the United States Senate, a bill that was supported universally by the testimony that we had in the Finance Committee, somehow can't get done before we leave for the holidays. That would be a terrible shame, a terrible stain on this Senate. Tonight, there are 50,000 children in Colorado that are in foster care. There are over 650,000 children in the United States of America. And what we have heard from them, what we have heard from their advocates, what we have heard from people who serve them, Republicans and Democrats alike, is that the institutional settings that too many of them are consigned to because of the way the law is written today is not the best thing for foster children. That families that can support them and that can nurture them when they get the benefit of some help are a far better place for foster children to be than these institutions. When it comes to drug addiction, when it comes to graduation rates from high school, when it comes to attendance from college, all of these things are affected by the way the current law exists. Mr. President, you may know that half of the cases of foster children in the United States are related one way or another to the scourge of opium addiction that's happening in the United States. This bill allows us to recognize that. It allows the people that serve the children and the families best to be able to intervene in a way that can keep the families together longer. And what we know from the testimony in the hearing is that that's the best thing for foster kids, it's the best thing for our states, and it's the best thing for the country. So I join my colleague from Oregon in saying we should not go home with this unresolved. We should not go home with the kind of momentum that exists for this bill inside the Congress, and much more important than that, outside the Congress, without having addressed this vulnerable population of people that live in the United States. And it is my fervent hope that we in the Senate will find a way to come to our senses and do our job, just as the people who came here to testify did their job, expecting that the United States Congress would respond to their description of their life experience and what went wrong in a foster care setting that's been established by the United States Congress. It's up to us to fix it, and that's what we could do tonight or tomorrow morning, I hope, at the very latest. And with that, Mr. President, I thank my colleague from Oregon for his leadership on this bill. I thank once again the chairman, the thoughtful chairman of the Finance Committee, Orrin Hatch from Utah, for his leadership on this bill. And I hope over the next 12 or 24 hours, we find a way to get this through the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.